formula to it. A very simple formula.
Hello everyone, welcome to Slash It. 2021 has had some amazing horror movies and could almost be cited as ushering back in the movie theaters after the pandemic. More on this in a little bit. Horror in 2021 has had some great sequels, originals, and spin-offs. They terrified us, connected us closer to the characters, and moved us straight into 2022, which is kicking off to be another great year of horror with Scream making $30 million in its 4-day opening. To stay in touch with me and all that I do, follow me on Twitter @SlashItHorror and Instagram @SlashItHorror, and consider subscribing to my Patreon. With that, let's get started. The list of horror movies is not in any particular order, and I will only be talking about the ones I have seen. I'll be listing the ones that I was able to find that did come out this year, so you can check here for a bunch of great horror films. I'll be trying my hardest to spoil in any of the movies, but I can't promise I can completely omit them. Okay, first on our list is A Quiet Place Part 2. The sequel to 2018's A Quiet Place, the film features the surviving characters from the first part. It was the first film since the pandemic to reach the box office highs of before the pandemic started. This film ends in a way that could potentially lead us into A Quiet Place Part 3, as well as there being a spin-off in the works currently. The way this movie brought forth the next year of horror movies was incredibly important. This movie built the world of the movie more than the isolated and enclosed environment of the first film. And with that, we are moving on. Candymade 2021 is almost entirely a sequel to the original with some mentions to the sequels. The film follows Anthony as he, spoiler alert, slowly delves into the legacy of Candyman and learns about him. The fascination quickly engrossed him as he slowly became a Candyman. The film ends with Tony Todd, the original Candyman, and it's the only time he shows up as the Candyman from the earlier parts of the movie is a different Candyman. Anthony transforms between each of the different Candymen talked about in the movie. Tony Todd's Candyman appears with the line, "Say my name," which ends the film. This film discusses politics and humanity in a beautifully shot, scored, and yet terrifying film. Halloween Kills is the sequel to 2018's Halloween. It features the return of Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode and Michael Myers returns to kill once again. The body count is higher, there is more blood, it features the classic Halloween feeling while mixing in politics with the modern age in an in-depth look. The film features the return of Tommy Doyle and Lindsay Wallace. The film ends with a cliffhanger and starts the climb to this year's Halloween Ends. Spiral is a spin-off of the Saw series and features Chris Rock as his entrance into the series. It's a mixture between the classic Saw and Seven mixed with a crime drama. The traps are terrifying, the acting is incredibly well done, and we get to see a new puppet. Samuel L. Jackson joins the cast as Chris's father. The film ends in a super well done twist in my opinion, and only makes me more excited for the next Saw film wherever they decide to go. The Conjuring 3. I greatly enjoyed the style and look of The Conjuring 3. I think this movie has a good plot as it's based on a real story. The film adds on to the legacy of the films that came before it while adding some more mythology to the story as a whole. I enjoyed the new cast of characters and loved that it brought the characters into the 80s and brought that style with them. George Romero's long lost film, The Amusement Park. The film takes place in an amusement park and features an old man who goes through a long, treacherous journey. It talks about what life is like. It talks about what life is like as an old person. It is so freaky and incredibly inspiring to live life the best we possibly can. It feels like the entire movie takes place in the ending of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It is absolutely worth watching as soon as you possibly can. It is on Shudder. VHS 94. If you have never seen a VHS movie, basically it is a bunch of segments of horror-related things. While there is an underlying plot, it doesn't matter as much as the other segments. This one in particular features some pretty strong segments that made me squeamish and are absolutely worth watching. If you want to check out what this movie is, I definitely would, and I do not want to spoil anything else for you, so go check it out if you want to. Malignant is an absolutely insane movie that you just have to watch for yourself with no spoilers. It is a medical drama, kind of. It is a medical horror movie, kind of. There's a lot of elements to it. It is a James Wan movie. That's all you need to know about that movie. It is great. You will love it if you like horror movies. The Forever Purge. Forever Purge is a sequel to The Purge, and this time discusses what would happen if The Purge just never ended. While I personally enjoyed this movie for what it is, I can understand the cheesiness and people who dislike it. It is worth watching though, and does a good job of incorporating its politics into the film. These movies that are coming up are movies that I have not seen, but I know are very, very good, and you should check them out if you can. I cannot go into depth on why exactly these movies are great, but I do know they are really good, and I want to list them for you here. Aftermath, Antlers, Manor, There's Someone Inside Your Home, Don't Breathe 2, The Unholy, Escape Room 2 Tournament of Champions, Wrong Turn, Classic Horror Story, Lamb, Willy's Wonderland, and Last Night in Soho, directed by Edgar Wright. This and so many more amazing horror movies came out in 2021. I have high hopes for the rest of 2022 to have an amazing lineup. Thank you very much for watching the rest of the videos on my channel. I happen to think they are very good, and you can listen to my podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I make that too. I just want to say thank you very much for subscribing and liking. I've hit 50 subscribers, which I know seems like not a lot to a lot of people, but it is a ton to me, so I do greatly appreciate you for, watching my videos and listening to me talk about my favorite thing in the world. So thank you much for that. It means absolutely everything to me. And yeah, just thanks for being you, and thanks for watching my videos and giving me an outlet to talk about this kind of thing. So yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you want to, see my tweets. And yeah, remember, treat every day like it's Halloween.